All right, everybody, we are live again this Christmas edition, and I have Kyla Genesis, aka Santa Genesis,
That's a
on with us.
Genesis.
Santa Genesis on with us. He decided to come from the south side of the North Pole.
Yeah,
Um,
South. Well,
the south side of the North Pole, brother Santa
125th
Genesis, and tonight's
125th
topic,
North Pole.
yeah, tonight's topic we're going to be discussing celebrating the wins of Black America, including Liberia, which has been completely erased from the history of Black America. I don't know why it's not in the history books. Even if you go to Colin, this is a good question. In fact, this is a question for anybody in the chat room. If you went to there was this Smithsonian Museum, African History Museum in
Right.
DC, what it's called,
Yeah.
do they even mention Liberia in
So
that?
African American Museum.
Yeah, in
Nope.
DC.
Nope. But yet they have LGBT blacks in history. That's included in there because the people that got money, like Obama and Oprah, made sure that was in there. You know about the black and stuff that should have been buried in history. Oh, such and such nephew was gay, and he helped this, that, like that, and he was gay too. We really need to know all that. But that's celebrated and everything like that. So I knew there was a catch to it. But something that is important in Liberia. Oh no, you can't do that. We can't talk about that. No,
Mhm.
no, no. But gays and cripples and all kinds of nefarious things. Well, this person was this. This person was that. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Someone's a gangster rapper. Oh, let's throw all that in there too. That's all right.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
African American history. Oh yeah, yeah, let's put an exhibit to the drug dealers of Harlem. See, this is our history back then, man. Let's put Bumpy Johnson up there. Let's say but this is what I'm talking about. Nobody really takes black people in our history seriously because we don't take ourselves in history seriously. You know who take people seriously? You know how you can tell when people take themselves seriously? You look
No.
at what they got. You know, you look at what they got. You look at the Euro America, you look what he has, whatnot, he takes himself seriously. You go to Japan, you look at the monuments, sacred temples, and all stuff like that people would love to tear down and say, oh, no, that's too Japanese, that's too masculine. Why are you glorifying the samurai and everything? And guess what? The museums in Japan are going to reflect the Japanese, and they don't give a damn what you think. You know, Same thing with me. That's the benefit of having a nation state of your own, which you control. And you don't let anybody come in that's going to usurp it and rearrange the furniture once they get in. And that's the problem with the African American. Well, they throw a bone to us, the Smithsonian Museum, just like they threw a bone with us with integration. And the bottom line, it's not really for us. It's never really for us. Just like when they talk about Black history, it's never for us. It's not for our benefit. It's to say what a great country America is. It's to
Right.
say, oh, look how far these people come, because they omit the things that can really empower and uplift Black people. And put what they think that we should have in there. The whole thing, the gist of this of the Smithsonian, without even going there, I was supposed to go there with my family, but they went on the wrong day, the day after Thanksgiving. I told them, man, so look, man, there's no way I'm going to do that. And I was right. Traffic's going to be hell. We're not coming up. Our family down here is not going to come up from to DC while you guys taking a bus from New York. We're going to get
Right.
stuck in traffic. Wrong day to go. So, well, we're going to make it another day where we're all going to go up there and everything. But that's neither here nor there. The problem is they basically cherry pick Black history. I can even, without even going there, I could tell you, I know what I'm going to see. They're going to glamorize things that basically appeal to white people. Oh, Black people fighting for integration. They're fighting
Right.
for inclusion. All these things. But when you go to a museum or any other people, first thing you're going to say first thing you realize if you go to Japan and go to a museum, if you're a white person, Black person, you realize these people don't give a fuck about you. They're telling their story, their history, their posterity, what's important to them. You know, they're not going to talk about the nurses that saved. You're going to see a exhibit about the nurses who saved Japanese radioactive victims after Hiroshima. That might be in it, but it might not be in it. You see what I mean? See, I'm going with this. Black people always have to, in some way, we always have to strive for white acceptance, white approval, and assimilation and integration in America. Even they acknowledge now, right? They wouldn't have any credibility if they completely left out the Nation of Islam, So they gotta put that in there. They gotta put some of Marcus Garvey in there and everything. Oh, he was a good champion of Black Power. No, you don't. You don't believe in that because you did everything you could to destroy him, erase him from history. So how is it how mockingly you gonna put him in a museum right now? When the time of the thing and say, okay, well, Black people facing a time where we're saying, okay, well, maybe we should have listened to Garvey. Maybe hindsight 2020, maybe we did the wrong thing. That won't happen. So where's the future in Black America? It seemed like we did everything they told us to do. We gave up integration. We gave up the exodus to leave America. We gave all stuff like that. But yeah, we still rejected. We're still getting killed, and we still have a country where that doesn't give a damn about us and everything. And despite the fact that many of us are winning, we're winning, but we feel like basically we don't belong any place. We're just here. So that's the problem we face now in Black America, right? Everyone's selling out.
Quick, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people real quick. Number one, shout out to Queen T, everybody. Queen T, my Carrot Bars partner. This is her skin and hair butter. She has a hair care line called, speaking of Black wins, Black people winning. Queen
Yep,
T,
Black people winning.
the love of people. This is her hair care line right here. Bam, bam. Go to the loveofpeople.com, okay? The love of people.com and get your skin and hair butter. She has some other hair care products and skin products. Go support her. Black owned. I know people are always complaining, oh, the Koreans got a monopoly on the black hair care, hair care industry. Where here we go, Black owned, the loveofpeople.com. Shout out to Queen T. And then also, too, shout out to my brother, Natural Ike. My brother, Natural Ike. Products from Nigeria. I had the honey on here, had the roasted peanuts. The hibiscus is off the chain, too. This is the wild rice. He has wild rice. I have some breadfruit seeds, and some other products over here. Make sure you go to naturalike.com. Support this brother Ike. Again, Black people winning. Here we go. We got our own products. We just got to support it. So shout out to Natural Ike. Shout out to Queen T over at the Love of People. There we go. All right, go ahead.
Okay, somebody in the chat room named Busha Jalal said, "Carla don't speak for Black people." I look like bottom line is that I speak for myself. I'm just one man's opinion. It's just my voice. It's my opinion over here. Everybody has opinions are like what everybody has one. It's just my opinion. I never said that I spoke for Black people or ever like that. So get out of here. If you want that sort of talk where somebody say I speak for Black people, go over to those other channels over there and whatnot. Give them your
Hey, go to Al Sharpton.
Go to Al Sharpton. Go to
yeah,
Roland. Go all those places that people that profess I speak for the Negroes right here. You gotta listen to me and whatnot. I speak for people who believe in nationalism, who believe in endgame, that Black people need to have a nation of their own, and that we should celebrate our wins and our nationalistic history in Black America, and we should have solidarity based on race and a common heritage and common thing. That's who I represent. So if you don't believe in that, hey, then of course I don't speak for you. I'm past trying to convince people, in this late day and age about what we need to do and what needs to go forward. Because I know the majority of people are just going to be lost, and that's just the way it is. But getting back to what we were talking about, as far as like why we talk about Liberia, right? There's a difference between people groveling in hopelessness forever, right? And the most important thing, like
which is crazy, Kyle, because right now on the current projection that we're on here in America, that's pretty much the end game.
Oh yeah, right.
Woe is me. Woe is me.
Further into America. That's it. And then not only that, what's missing right now is this. Asia has basically took, like I said about in the top of the show, right? I said people take themselves seriously, right? In 1955, in Indonesia, the Asian countries met what we call the Bandung Conference, right? All the things that were laid out to liberate Asia from European domination, everything like that, is why we see shining cities all over Asia that's passing Europe right now. Past Europe right now. The same thing was happening in the 1960s with black people. But somehow, why is it that the black people who try to have their OAU conferences and everything like that, they try to lay out the same benchmarks and everything to free themselves? We find ourselves further entrenched in white domination colonialism. It's a shame and disgrace the condition that we see in Africa. So, Carl, what are you talking about? We have countries that now that, and I've been doing my research lately, right? If you have a country that basically has a GDP, you look at the country's GDP, that tells you everything about a country, what it's doing and what's not doing, right? Nigeria has almost 200 million people. It has a 500 billion GDP. Get this. Singapore has 4 million people, right? And its GDP is almost that. 4 million people. They say, well, what is Singapore doing? Well, Singapore is not just selling oil, right? Singapore, with the Poinloy groups and other logistics companies, are doing massive infrastructure projects where they're earning billions and billions of dollars. Singapore is a gateway to Asia. If you want to sell something or distribute something or send something in Asia, Singapore is the place you open up an office. Singapore straddles two oceans, the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. It has Hong Kong to the north. It has Southeast Asia to the south and everything. It has the Philippines, everything. If you want to do business in all these big mega cities in Asia or whatnot, the place to go is Singapore. That's why their GDP and the per capita is the highest in the world, right? Now I say, well, geez, Colin, how you gonna expect? Look, the bottom line is this: we as black people, right? Had we listened to Marcus Garvey, right? Had we listened to Marcus Garvey instead of just him being a footnote in a paragraph, instead of him being on a wall on the damn museum and everything, and we actually picked up the damn book and actually said, yo, let's put this together. Let's swallow our pride. Let's swallow our egos. Let's swallow stuff like that, and let's put something together so the next generation can have something. We're screwed. We know that. So the next generation can have something. But no, do we do that? No, we want to, with our egos, and I'm better than you. I did this. I did that. I came up under the tutelage of Dr. Such and such and everything like that. I came up to the doctor broke such and such, blah, 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 boom, shakalaka, blah, 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 blah. You can't tell me nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Genesis, man. Dr. Boom, blah, 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 told me everything I need to know and whatnot. Well, what are you doing now? Well, man, the man's been hitting me hard lately, man. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 felony warrants on me and whatnot. The man is trying to bring me down, man, But this is what you have, This is what you have right here on social media. A bunch of goddamn clowns, Nobody wants to come together. Nobody's serious about anything, right? So for now, for 2020, I'm not going to be taking many people seriously. I want to see what we're going to do. The people that are winning, I got to give props to Boyce Watkins. I have to do it. I was a many critic of Boyce Watkins and everything, but he decided, look, let me go over to Ghana and see what's going on here,
Uh-huh.
Let's give props to the year of the return, in Ghana, It was a success. Now people are starting to say they want numbers. Yo, Diners, get this. Now they want numbers. You know what I'm saying? They said they want numbers to prove that there was $2 billion went into the Ghanaian economy. They say the Ghanaians are lying, about the year return added $2 billion.
Shit, I know. Shit, I tell you this, Colin. Me alone, when I went to Ghana, and I was just there for maybe 3-4 days. I had to spend, just me alone, hotel, one night, getting around. And see, I know people in Ghana, but just airfare and little things like that. I spent probably about. I didn't spend a lot. I was there like maybe 2-3 days. I spent maybe like $500.
Yeah,
but you got cats over there that just. You got cats over there that just.
Yeah.
Everybody
lands off that plane on average is like $3,000.
Right.
And the tourism and like I said, the city could handle capacity and everything like that. That's a lot of money. Some hotels and whole economies are based on people coming in, renting hotels and buying at local shops and everything like that. And that's how people sustain themselves,
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore they say, wow, geez, you got all these black people coming from the United States. You got celebrities coming over, right? Doing concerts. The Ghanaians are looking at it from a business standpoint, which is good. That's a progress. They're like, okay, you mean to tell me not just that we're just going to have a bunch of spiritual awakenings? No offense to anybody. We're not going to just throw water on each other, We're not going to just pray and sing for the ancestors. You mean to tell me that this this year return thing can actually yield some results? Yeah, I'll say. See, money talk. Like I said, the whole thing is money talks, bullshit walks. You
Right.
know, and Black America has money, right? We spend 30. They say $60 billion a year on travel. That's what Black America is. That was 3 years ago. $60 billion a year on hotels, traveling, cruise ships, tour buses. That's how much we spend. Airplanes. We
Megabus,
spend travel.
megabus, megabus.
Yeah, mega. Yeah, all this stuff like this. We travel a lot. Black America love traveling. We love going to places like Myrtle Beach and whatnot, and then buying up. I mean, just renting out every hotel. I don't know what it is. We've been always love to do this. Black people always want to get away. White people want to stay where they're at and let you come to them and dump your money in their businesses. But black people love to get away. We love to go to resorts. We love to go here. We go here. We love spending money. If Africa is starting to become attractive to a lot of African Americans and everything, hey, that's going to translate into a new social, political dynamic. And like I said, it's going to lead up to our question about Liberia. Later on.
And what I want to do too, once you get into Liberia, my sister Willa, she's in the chat room. I wanted to come on because she's Liberia.
Okay, great.
She can break down everything as well. So
right. My narrative on Liberia, right? Like someone asked me today, right, on Facebook. He says, "Kala, what is the matter with you African Americans? Like, they lump us all together. Whether you like it or not, they lump us all together. What do you?" I said, "Look, the only thing that I gathered from the American Liberians and Liberians in general, right? They want to be left the hell alone. Is that too much to ask for? Well, look, the bottom line is this. Let's say, and I'm not going to say that a lot of stuff was true. A lot of stuff is misinterpreted lies and everything else, right? What is it bringing up all this stuff in the past? Why is it that everyone in South Africa, right? White people in South Africa are living the good life, Not one white person was killed after apartheid, White people, black people are too scared to even bring up. I remember I was reading this article back in 1994, right? It was Epsis magazine. I went to South Africa, right? It was not actually 95. It was like a year after Mandela was elected, right? After the euphoria settled down and everything, Essence magazine did an article, and they went to South Africa. And there was an interview on people, black, white, and everything. And they said, well, everybody, the general consensus was nobody wants to talk about apartheid. Let's just move on,
All right.
Everybody said, let's leave it behind, but no one wants to talk about it, right? They left it alone. The black people. Even though the whites killed tens of thousands of them, right? Took their land, deliberately took their land. That never happened in Liberia, White people took their land and it forced them to work in their mines and everything like that. All these atrocities and everything, they let it go. Same thing that happened in Zimbabwe and everything, where you have blacks and black Zimbabweans. Well, I understand, the whites, but let's just let them have their land back. When it comes to the white man, black people, Africans and black people are so forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
They're so conciliatory, conciliatory. But when it comes to people who look like them or are like them, they want to go to war.
Right.
Same thing that happens in the United States. It's no different, Same thing happens in the United States. Christmas morning, I wake up Christmas morning here in Richmond, Virginia. 3 people shot. I don't even know the race. I don't really care, but I could just assume. 3 people shot last night. More shooting here and everything like that. Also, he asked him, "Why did you shoot the brother?" You know what I'm saying? He looked at me gave me the wrong look.
He stepped on my Nike Cortez.
He stepped on my shoes, man. He dissed me. So you're gonna take a person's life, take away from his kids, everything. You're gonna feed his children now and everything like that. I don't give a fuck. I'm hard and whatnot, But George Zimmerman will walk up to any one of these Negroes and slap him in the head and won't do a damn thing. That's the mentality. I know that sick mentality, right? And I don't want it anywhere near me. If you want to make enemies with the college genesis, there's something freaking wrong with you. We can have disagreements and all stuff like that, but when you decide that I'm your enemy and everything on just my opinions or whatever like that, there's something wrong. You better check yourself. because I am not any black man's enemy. I'm just somebody with a voice and opinion. You can take it or leave it. Take it or use it or move the hell along. This sick mentality among black people, it has to go. And this is why we don't celebrate our wins. And they ain't give me no money. You know what I'm saying? So what? What does that got to do with him? We'll find a way how to discredit somebody who's winning. We don't want to celebrate people that's successful and say, look, encouragement, say, or be inspirational and say, look, man, if he could do it, I could do it.
Hold on one second, Carla. Guys, hit that like button. Please hit the like button. If not, Kala's gonna sing if you don't hit the like button. And everyone, I want to commend Kala on his new his iPad. Now, Kala had this iPad now for over a year. He was using that old ass computer, and it's clear. Listen, it's clear. The sound is clear. I mean.
Oh yeah, I know. And I'm like, dang, I had my iPad here all this time, man. I was like, dang, I didn't know anything about this, man. I was like, dang, I don't know anything about computers and all stuff like that. I was like, hey, it looks good. The reason why I used it tonight was because I was trying to start up my computer, and this thing is still loading up. The thing is, I turned my computer on right now. It's still buffering. I said, man, Diane's gonna chew my head off, man. I go, we got live in a minute one of my computers. I said, forget this, man. So I pulled my iPad out. I'm glad I did.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is this. If we want to win, right? Well, what we have to do is distance ourselves from losers.
Which is hard. We're the only people. In fact, I'm gonna tell you a true story. I used to live in Koreatown in LA, right?
Right.
And there was this homeless. In fact, let me ask you this, Kyle. Have you ever seen a homeless Korean person?
I think no.
Okay.
I can't recall.
There was a homeless Korean woman that used to walk up and down the street. That would be Western. I used to stay off of like 9th in Serrano and like Western. The people who are familiar with Koreatown in LA, that's where I stayed. When I say that when this homeless Korean lady used to walk up and down the street in Koreatown, how I don't speak Korean, but these Korean women will grill the hell out of her like, you making us look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But our most ratchet, criminal.
Oh, look at our friend, our big friend Lizzo. No offense to our big sisters, no, but there's a time and place for everything. She's up there trying to force herself. And was that her at a Popeyes? Was that somebody else? I just saw a video where this humongous one was like dancing. I said, is that Lizzo? But it was just like a short clip. They didn't show the face. But I don't know if she just bum rushed Popeyes and just started doing the twerking dance. But the crew was horrified. She's sitting there. And I'm saying to myself, and then the one video where she broke a table.
Yeah.
And she's defiant. Defiant. Yeah. We're living in a time where everybody feels that everything has to be accepted. The only thing that's not accepted is black nationalism. That's never could be accepted. You can be a gangster rapper, talk about murdering, killing babies, killing this, selling drugs. You can be a record producer like this guy, Juice, whatever his name is, died of Percocets. Oh, it's like it's not even a human being. You mean tell me you listen to this man's record and I was like, oh man, he died one night. So just go on to the next rapper that you like and everything. That's a human being that just died, And so therefore, no one cares. No one cares about your life or anything like that. But as long as he entertains you and everything like that. But this whole Lizzo thing, right? We have to accept. No, I don't have to accept that. Well, if she was skinny, Collar, he was like, look, there's a time and place for everything. Does she have to do this in front of the whole world? And then I believe Eddie Murphy gave her another platform on Saturday Night Live. So everyone's giving this woman a platform. What's the purpose of this? Are you trying to tell black women that it's okay to get out there? And remember this whole thing about what I'll do for the dick, that thing going around, which had Shania Latham, had Gabrielle Union, all these freaking ratchet chicks. We have to basically rein in 2020. We got to rein in all these people, these weirdos, these freaks, and these harlots and everything in Hollywood. You know, they gotta go. They got a nerve to get up there and try to speak. Alicia Keys, all these freaking sickos and weirdos. What's going on? All these sickos and weirdos that's running Black America right now. This is what this is all about. You know, we got Cardi B is an advisor to Bernie Sanders. You know, uh, uh, Young Jeezy and what's his name from Atlanta, Ti,
Yeah.
are advising Joe Biden. You know, so therefore, this is what we've come to. You know, you elevate the people, the garbage out in the culture in the street, give us garbage culture and everything like that. Now they're going to be the new influencers as far as politics. That means what that tells you is there is no Black social, political, and cultural and infrastructure in America. Anytime people like this could be your main influencers or advise on politics and everything, that means there's nothing going on. And I've always known this for years. I said this for years when Diddy had that vote or die thing. Remember we talked about that?
Mm-hmm.
The vote or die. There's no real Black politics. Let's just stop kidding ourselves. The only thing we do is every 4 years we run there and vote for Democrats. That's it. Because, oh, the Republicans are still going to get us and whatnot. And then you have the white savior, Joe Biden, you know. And I'm and say, look, I'm a Black nationalist, right? Right? I don't fear America. I don't fear the white man. I don't fear Trump. I don't fear Joe Biden. I don't fear none of these people. If it comes down to it, let's just get it over with, you know? If it's going to be a war in this country and whatnot, if it's going to be a race war, let's just do it, you know? Let's just do it. But let's not grovel. If a race war is coming, just let it happen. That's what I see it. Just let it happen, you know? Well, I'm not going to grovel in fear like, oh, I got to vote for them because those evil Republicans, I don't know what they're going to do to us, but blah, 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 blah. So let it freaking happen. Because I tell you right now, right, you know what's happening right now in Virginia, a place like this? These white people are ready. They're ready. They're stockpiling guns. Virginia governor has said that he's going to go and take every gun from Virginians. He said that he's going to shut down all martial arts schools and everything. That's what they're going to pass in January, right? These white people are like, okay, you know, they're not sitting back and worried, right? They're like, if you remove Trump and try to something like this country is there's gonna be blood flowing down the streets in this country. If you think I'm just exaggerating, you really don't haven't studied America very well. You got the Brady Bunch version of America, you know. I knew the real America growing up. I know, yeah, these people are capable. These people in Virginia, all the 7 cities here in Virginia have signed to become a Second Amendment sanctuary. That means if the state of Virginia, not even the federal government, the state of Virginia tries to come in here and take people's guns and whatnot, they're going to resist. And I know these people out here, these rednecks out here, they will shoot. They would not think anything of shooting a politician, cop, or anything. Because they know the system that backs them up. We could never have that sort of power. They know when the dust settles, they're going to be vindicated and cleared. It happened before. Study your history in Memphis, Tennessee, where political bosses tried to bully the people, overtax the people, create debtors prisons, everything. The white males rose up against the political bosses of the area. It happened in Minneapolis in the 1920s during the Depression, right? Where they basically, where the governor, state official, were like waging war against Jewish bankers, you know? And you think this can't happen again in this day and time, you are sadly mistaken, you know? So therefore, I ask the question: what are you going to do when that day comes? Where are you going to go? What do you have? Do you have an end game? Do you have an exit strategy? No, because it's going to come. Believe me, it's going to come. You know. So, like I said, I'm biding my time. I'm doing my thing and whatnot. I got an exit strategy. I got one personally. You know what I'm saying? What's yours? You know, if you think they're going to give you a reparations check and live to spend it, okay, you got another thing coming. You know, you will not see no reparations check. Not without bloodshed. You won't.
All right, let's see here. Let's can I bring Willa on? Call it.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll discuss.
I haven't seen the link. Go ahead. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay. Oh, you bringing her on? Okay. Yeah.
I'll bring her on. She's gonna really,
Okay.
really down
Let me
Liberia.
hold Giants. Hold on. Let me get something to drink. Hold on. I'll be right back.
But with
I'll be
that being
right back.
said, make sure you guys hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Please hit the like button. I'll be heading out New Year's Eve. I'm gonna spend a day in Morocco. Then I'll be in Sierra Leone 4 or 5 days. Then I'm going to, for sure, Benin Republic, but I might pass through Nigeria. Something has to be done about travel throughout West Africa. It's so expensive to travel throughout West Africa. I don't know why. It's just expensive as hell. It's cheaper to travel throughout East Africa, but going from country to country in West Africa is just ridiculous. You know,
Yeah.
some of the tickets cost more to travel from country to country in West Africa than it is just for me to travel from America to Africa.
Right. It's infrastructure. We
But East
can't get around the fact
Africa,
that African infrastructure is not there. That's why travel's so expensive. Now, if the African government said, look, if they could do that one thing, get infrastructure, macro and micro infrastructure up and thing, and gear that towards local travel, local transportation, local transit, and all stuff like that, you will see the price of plane tickets come down. You will see the price of hotels come down. You'll have a hotel boom and everything like that. Everything be lovely, but
well,
that's the problem.
the hotels aren't that bad. Hotels aren't that bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm looking at Liberia right now for a hotel, and I'm like, whoa, man, what the hell? They don't. Well, Liberia don't have that many hotels. When I,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
so that.
we had at one time we had Hotel Africa in the
Oh
Ducal.
yeah, of course, we had Hotel Africa,
All that stuff too.
Accor, everything. And like I said, let's bask in the glory of Liberia tonight for a little bit. Let's
When,
talk.
when Willa comes on, she's gonna give.
Yeah, let's just talk about the great Liberia. I can't just get over that. When that while I watching you on the video today, and you were looking at Hotel Africa, Idi Amin once stayed there.
Mhm.
They said Idi Amin stayed in that pool, right? He said when he came there in the '79. That's another thing. How come we don't know about that '79? That was the lead up to both the Casablanca and the Monrovia Group OAU, right? Was a '79 conference of OAU. Kwame Nkrumah spearheaded. He wasn't even alive at the time, right? But he coached and made sure that thing happened. That was going to be the premier. The agreement that came out of the 1979 OAU conference, right, was going to in 10 years, right, create the non-aligned movement, right? The non-aligned. What is the non-aligned movement? We're not either communists, we're not capitalists or everything. We're non-aligned. You want to do business here? That means you're going to have to shake hands with Russian diplomats on our thing, because the United States at the time, this is hypocrisy. The United States told Liberia, don't have nothing to do with Russia, don't have nothing to do with China. But a few years over in that, Nixon opened up relationship with Beijing, right? Khrushchev was friends with Kennedy, and all these other things, right? So Liberia's like, if you say they're the enemy. That's what Tubman said. You say they're the enemy, and we're communists and everything. But you guys are selling rice to Russia, right? You selling them weapons and everything, and you're telling us. So in other words, Africa and Asia knew that they were the battlefield, the proxy for this farce called the Cold War. The Cold War was a farce. It was all about trying to get the European powers back in power, right? Rebuild, right? By using the non-white countries to fight each other as a battlefront, so they don't have to fire shot at each other. That's what the Cold War is all about, you know. So, like I said, Idi Amin came in 1979, right? What came out of that thing was the Mono River Agreement in the eastern part of Liberia with the Sierra Leone and everything. They were going to create industrial zones in the Galenas, the Mono River and everything, canals, everything. They were going to make it a nice trading zone, industrial zone, everything. And the Lagos Plan of Action, a unified highway system, WAPP, that means what? West African Power Pool, Power Pool. WAPP, West African Power Pool. WAPP, West African Power Pool. A unified grid for the continent. A bank, the Bank of Africa. An African bank, right? Was supposed to be in Monrovia. Also, a military, Pan-African military thing building, which was never finished, right? And also the Pan-African. Did you see that Pan-African building in Monrovia? Going towards Mamba Point.
I probably did
You know what
and
I'm saying? So
didn't know.
it was never finished, right? But some
I
people, some
did
of
I
these
saw
idiots,
it, and I saw they
there's
were
some of these idiots talking about that's an eyesore. You have beautiful builds, an eyesore. Same thing with that. I said, well, you guys didn't finish it when Doe. It was under construction when the coup happened. You know, so it's
right.
an eyesore just sitting there. Same thing with the military. Liberia was going to be the military center, right? But guess what happened, right? After the coup, right? The African Development Bank moved to Abidjan, Ivory Coast. That was supposed to be in Monrovia. Monrovia had just attracted, right? Their own banks, right? And they had Chase Manhattan Bank and Citibank in Monrovia, you know, and
Mhm.
all investments in Africa in Liberia, right? The Lamco mines and everything like that had to have local investment in there. How you doing, sister?
Hi,
How you doing?
fine.
Yeah, my Liberian
Hi.
Conaqua. Oh,
Oh, let me turn my TV off. Sorry. Let me turn my TV off. Okay, my TV's off.
Hey, Willa.
Good evening to all.
good evening.
Oh, can I start talking?
Yeah, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
The
Oh,
floor is
Sure.
okay.
this is my sister Willa. I stayed with her family when I was in Monrovia, and she knows the history, and so she could really go into detail about the glory days of Liberia.
Okay, hello to all. And I'm going to be pretty blunt. I'm not going to, be politically correct or anything. Uh, I have been following Diners now for almost a year, and I am a Liberian born. I'm 62 years old. I grew up in Liberia. I'm from an Americo-Liberian family. I'm very proud of my heritage. I am not going to sugarcoat and say that, oh, I have a third native background and this
Yeah,
has been the
yeah,
narrative.
they do.
I noticed that a lot of Americans have been kind of battered into not owning who they are. I'm not going
Right,
to do that. So um, my background is my mother's side of my family. We trace, and what's good about it is, I'll say this, I'll go back. My family kept records. They kept documents. So my grandfather on my mother's side came from slavery. I mean, great great grandfather, excuse me, from direct from slavery in one of the plantations from in Louisiana. My great 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 on my father's side, they came from Kentucky, and they were not rich. They were not of the elites. They were not so-called mulattoes or white. They were jet black. They were my
right,
color and darker. My mom's side of the family, my great 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 grandfather was a farmer. My mom's side of the family, the great 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 was he did the I don't know what you call that thing, the all the work that you see, but for the houses in now in New
yeah,
Orleans,
framer,
well, iron,
a
yeah,
mason.
right, okay, mason and iron workers stuff. All
Right.
right, I'm sorry, I don't know the
So you
exact.
must be for. Let me guess. You're from Clay Ashland.
Yes, I'm from
Clay Ashland. I know
my
that.
father and my stepfather are from Clay Ashland.
Yeah.
My birth father was Dixon. My
Mm-hmm.
He and my mom divorced when I was 5, and then my mom married Coleman, which was William David Coleman, that was killed
I
by
know your story. I
Tubman.
know your family
That
story.
was my
Yeah.
grandfather, my step grandfather. So
Right.
I grew up at the dining table every Sunday. We would set the table, and our father would tell us the story. Since I can remember, I know my story. So I am very proud to be Americo-Liberian. I can't claim and say, oh, my fourth cousin was from the Bassar tribe, or my fifth cousin was from this tribe. No, I am Americo-Liberian. I consider myself a full Liberian, and nobody can take that from me.
Right.
And I am very, and I'm sick and tired of being on these channels and listening to people denigrate my people and the
Right.
contribution that they made to this country. I am
Right.
the only biological child of my mother. However, my mother raised 10 children. All of them were children that people brought from the interior to her. They sought her out. Can you please
Right.
educate my child? Can you please have my child live with you? My
Mhm.
closest sister is one of them, who's now in her 50s. She was brought to my mother when I was about 2. Yeah, and I don't even remember, but she's been my sister all her life. Her father brought her. She grew up with us. She doesn't know who her family is. Her name is Coleman. Her name is Regina Coleman. My mom ended up naming after her mother because they dropped her. I think she said the family was Gisi. The gentleman, how she came to us, my mom, I was little, I don't remember. But at the time we lived in Monrovia. Where we lived was across from where the old Bank of Liberia was. There was a big frame house. The same former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, lived on the first floor. We lived on the top floor. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was married to my mom's cousin, Dr. Sirleaf. So I'm just giving you a background of my social connection and my background. Now, how this girl came to us, my mom said that every day her father would walk by going to, I guess, the port or something to do a job. He was like a day laborer. And he would have this little girl with him. So my mom asked him one day, where do you take this girl every day? He said, I have to go to work. My wife died when I brought her from the country and I'm working at the port, which is a good distance from the port of Liberia to where the Bank of Liberia used to be. I don't know if it's still there, but across the street. That's where we lived. So one day when he came back, my mom said, I tell you what, instead of taking this girl with you to the port, leave her with me. And then when you're done, you come back and get her. I think he did it one day. The second day, he never came back. She was 2 years old. She lived with us until my mom sent her to school, married her off. And that happened 9 other times.
Mhm. Mhm.
Dinah's just lived with my, we don't like to say stepbrother, stepsister, but when my mom married Coleman, Coleman had 3 children. Samuel David Coleman, the third, who was on one of your videos. Etta Coleman, who's now married to Johnson, and Moses Oliver Coleman, he's passed away recently. But we grew up, and my mom raised all of us together. My stepfather's biological child. Was her biological child. I'm the only child she had, and 10 other people who came and went, and they lived with us, were educated. They all are between Europe, America, but they all live productive lives. Why? Because of my family. So I don't want to hear, I refuse to accept anybody saying that we were in apartheid and
Yeah.
nobody's
Yeah.
perfect. Nobody's
Yeah.
perfect. Of course, I'm sure there were people who mistreated people, I am sure. But I am not going to deny the contributions made by Americo-Liberians. That does not negate me from being a Liberian. Until today, the land that my family bought in 1847, I still have it. I have every full 100 acres between Louisiana and Fastown. That was my great grandfather's. My mother was an only child. I'm an only child before that. So everything's passed down. I have not sold 1 inch of that land. Almost every other month, I get some call for someone telling me that
Water.
somebody wants to build something, or Chinese wants to open up some kind of plant, and I refuse. My land is natural and it's farmland, and I keep it as in honor of my ancestors. That's how proud I am of it. I am a Liberian. And so because I'm not Kuru, Bassa, Gribble, or what, that doesn't make me less of a Liberian. Who did the killing and the assassinations and all the
Right,
wicked stuff
right, right.
during the
Well,
war?
they blame it on New York.
Who did that? Was it the was it the Americo-Liberians?
Yeah,
We were only a tiny part of the population.
right,
Okay, so the war is over. Why isn't Liberia booming?
right.
If
Oh,
if it was the
because they believe
Americo-Liberians that kept.
you know what it is? Like Eugene Fagon said. He said these people, these idiots. I watch these people. Like I said deadly clowns. Sister, I watched these people for 10 years use social media to spread so much lies, right? That Sirleaf wasn't perfect, right? But you
Exactly.
see where she was going. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They were saying that there's a conspiracy that America, Liberians are sitting in America and Europe trying to undermine Liberia. They
No,
fought the
we
war.
are just trying to survive. We're not trying to.
You guys just want to survive. That's what I'm
We,
trying to say.
we just trying to survive. We are so like a lot of most American Liberians ended up marrying natives.
Right.
I am of one of very few people who can say I can trace my lineage all the way down on both my parents' side, that neither one of my parents were connected to any native tribe. There are not
Right.
many of us left. So what the
Right.
heck? You know, I'm so emotional about this. It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
makes me mad. And I am willing to, just the other day, and I tell you what, part of this, part of it is an inferiority complex on the
That's what it
part of
is.
some people. I'll give
Right.
you an example. I have a cousin that lives here. I'm living in Rhode Island. I came to Massachusetts in 1977 as a student. This should tell you, as I told Dinus, when
Mhm.
I left Liberia, my standard of living was higher than my standard of living when I came to America.
Mhm.
Okay, think
Oh
about
yeah.
it. 1977, I lived in a house that had two bathrooms, master bedroom. We had two cars. We had telephone. We had television. We had everything. I had my house was a lot nicer than where I came to live. When I came here, I was surprised because coming to America, I thought everybody lived, the image. Everybody was rich. Everybody lived well.
No.
And I thought everybody here was educated and well versed. And I came and realized that people didn't know anything because the school that I went to in Boston, I got there, of course, 1977. It was me. I was the only Black person in my class in Boston, and then
Yeah.
there was a Black girl from England. The two of us. When I got up to make my speech in class, my teacher turned around and said, "Oh my God, you speak such perfect English." I thought in Africa you guys had to run from the tree. I mean, the lions and not to mention my classmates.
Yeah.
I learned quickly that I came here with a certain image of America, a certain, all the stuff. And I came and I realized that everything I had learned, even though I had learned from my family about slavery, that you see, that's the one thing I'll say about Liberia versus the rest of Africa. I realized that other Africans know nothing about the transatlantic slavery
They know
and
nothing.
about the experience of African Americans. But I tell you, we know
Yeah.
because our people come from that.
Right. And
So
you know
when
what would happen if the white people took over Liberia.
we know about white people. We
You
know
know
because
about that. You know about that.
right, my ancestor told us down the line and down the line, and my family made it us. I said every Sunday at dinner. Now, what the so-called natives always talk about, most American Liberians were not wealthy.
They're not.
It was
They weren't.
culture. It was culture. What was inbred into us was education,
Yeah.
learn, business, entrepreneurship, land.
Universe.
Maintain
University.
your land.
Universal knowledge.
Exactly. Now,
You know.
that's why I said people here they may see Africans walking around and think we're poor. No, we may not have cash in the bank, but we have land.
Right.
I have 100 acres of land in one spot that's been in my family since 1847.
Right.
In Cape Mount, my stepfather was one of the chief engineers at
Cape Mountain.
the
Beautiful,
right.
folks.
He how we went to Cape Mount to live when we were little. He was sent there to build a road from Robertsport to Monrovia. So we went to Cape Mount. At that time, we had to take a plane. I would think I was in the maybe fifth grade. And so I ended up growing up in Cape Mount because of that. And so I got to know like the Vai people, learned a little Vai, still, cassava leaf and all that. So, but I got to know, to be honest with you, that's the closest tribe I became familiar with in Liberia. Before then, I didn't really know any tribal people because my inner circle was not. Now, I was saying to Dinus, after the war happened, a lot of people that I knew as American Liberians, all of a sudden, they were not American Liberians, they had tribes. So some of these people I had grown up with right, in my family. But what had happened was they were tribal people, but they were raised by Americans and took their names, and they disassociated themselves from their families. And then, but when the war happened, it became, all of a sudden, oh, I'm Gil, oh, I'm Pele, oh, and
I see it all the time.
I'm saying to myself, since when were you these tribes? I didn't know. Okay.
And like you said, it's all about pride and tribal. In other words, basically, a lot of people like this. I asked the guy just a minute ago. I'm typing as he was talking. He said, "Well," I said, "Look, what do you want the American Liberians to do?"
Exactly.
And I told him, I said, "Why don't you call in?" I put him a link. I said, "Why don't you call in?" Well, why don't they just? Look. They are not going to roll over and apologize for being who they are and what they've
done. We created Liberia. Liberia was booming. When I left Liberia, I tell people, just go on YouTube. Look at videos not made by Americans, made by Europeans and white Americans. Look at look at Monrovia, how beautiful it was in the 50s. And we had it was a culture. What our people brought from the Americas, they accused them of not being Of course, they weren't African culturally. They have been in slavery.
They've been in slavery.
They brought
Oh, I want to see if I can put some pictures up to illustrate what you're talking about. Hold up.
Yeah, you can share the screen, Kala, and then I can put the pictures up.
Hold up. Let's see. I screwed up. Hold up, screen, man.
And guys, make sure you hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Please hit that like button. Who keeps censoring you? I don't know.
All right, let's see.
Shout out to Nas Media.
All right, I don't know how to do this. Hold up. That's one thing bad is I don't know how to do the screen saver on my hold up. Okay. Use screensaver. Well, I have to do it another time. I don't have to do a screensaver.
Okay. Yeah. And I have the pictures of my grandfather and great grandfathers. I'm so fortunately what happened when I came to school, I would go home every 2 years. Fortunately for me, the last time I went home, my mom had all these old photographs that were crumbling, and I took them and brought them and had them restored. And right after that, the war happened. And I'm so glad I did.
Right.
Because I have these beautiful pictures of my grandfather, my great grandfather, the land when they first got it.
Well, if you write a book, I tell you, it'll go to bestseller easily.
Yep. And when people say negative things, and I'm telling you, my cousin, she's younger, she's in her 40s, and where she works, like in the American story, that most of the people that work in nursing homes are all immigrants. So she works in a nursing home here, and on the border between Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and a lot of people from Rhode Island work in Mass. Pay scales higher. So she works, and she was telling me where she works on a night shift. I think there are about 10 or 12 people. They're all from different tribes. Most of them are from the tribe that this Wea comes from, Kru or something.
Yeah.
So, right. Anyway, so she was telling me, so she said a lot of times when they're having conversations, she just keeps quiet because she's the only American in the group. So just to tell you about the inferiority complex part. She was just 2 months ago. she said she was in the lunchroom and she sat there and she never talks about herself. So, but this guy knows somebody who knows her. So sitting there together, and this she said this is somebody she's worked for a couple of years. You know what he said to her? He said,
What is it?
you know something? I have never been this close to a Congo girl. That's what they call it. The other word.
Congo
It's
people. Congo people.
right. It's well, it's Congo, but Liberians say Congar, Congr. Yeah,
Congo. They
yeah.
Congre.
They
I
say
heard
Congar. He said,
Congo.
I've never been this close
Conre.
to a Congo girl. I feel so honored to sit next to you. I've never been. So she called me. She go, what does he mean? I said, all that crap they be talking, because that's what she was saying. They be saying all this stuff about Congo people. The minute he gets her alone, he's telling her how he's enamored. He's never been that close to a Congo. Just think about it. It's as if, the mentality of certain black men
Yeah.
who feel it's an honor to be with a white woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Dusty stuff. Yeah.
That's the same kind of thing. So I told her, she said I was so creeped out. I just got up and left. I said, yeah. She goes, and he is one of those so-called nationalists that always say, oh, the Congo people this, the Congo people that. And the
Right.
minute he sits next to a beautiful Congo woman, he's trying to tell her how he's
Right. And that's what it's all about. Let me ask you a question, Miss Willa.
Mhm.
After the war, I did something I never talked about. Is this? It's like it wasn't just they wanted to get rid of American Liberians, right?
Nope.
Right after the coup, 1980,
Right.
right?
Right.
I know many stories. I've interviewed many Liberians where I said, yeah, girls were rounded up, raped, you know what I'm saying, by soldiers. They'll take it at gunpoint,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was their chance to get that Congo girl that they always wanted, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
raped a lot of
They
Congo
took
with
their
not just
sports
girls,
cars.
women too.
Women, yeah, Congo women were taken and forced
Right.
to be girlfriends of these soldiers of the indigenous. They're like, well, you didn't want us now. Now we're gonna force you. Women were raped. You know what I'm saying? People had their property that they owned. Right now in Brewerville,
Taken.
the property taken. So what does that have to do with the thing?
Nothing.
Property taken, property squat to this day. And I say, you have all that land in Lofa County. Why are you in here? You're a crew.
Right. They have undeveloped land in all their counties, but they wanted the land in the Congo area. They wanted the land
Congo
up the
they wanted
yeah.
Painesville.
Yep.
They wanted Mamba Point. They wanted
Yep.
all those places like that
Yep.
they loved. It's like, look, you could build Liberia all together.
Right.
We can make Grand Gita the freaking thing.
Right.
That's what Tolbert was trying to do. Look,
They don't
we're
want
trying
to.
to bring investment in your area so y'all don't flood the Monrovia.
No, they leave that. Right. So if the Congo people are so whatever, why are you leaving your county to come?
Why are you leaving the country to flood to the Monrovia? That's why I don't understand.
Yep.
They want to be the Congo people.
It's a bunch of hooey. I'm not saying that all Congo people were nice or good, but Liberia was not apartheid. Far from it. I don't know what are they not educated? Apartheid. That's what I'm hearing. That's the word.
The difference in apartheid is this. For one, first thing is not like they say, no animals were hurt in the demonstration of this product.
Right.
And the thing, no white person was harmed in the process.
Nope.
Not one white person was really killed during apartheid, the lead up to apartheid. Nope. They're still sitting on that land. They still got all the wealth.
Exactly.
And the blacks in South Africa are saying, like I was telling Diane earlier, they said, well, we don't talk about apartheid here. Right. They completely moved on. Yeah. They even calling the white Afrikaners Africans.
Exactly. But they even have a special town that no black people can go into. I'm like, are you kidding me?
They even let them build their own special town in South Africa. And blacks dare not go there.
Yes. Then they have the nerve to talk about us. I'm like, are you kidding? All the atrocities that these white people have done, you don't see it?
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
It's American Liberia.
Will, let me ask you a question. There's a man named John Cement who wrote a book called like Apartheid in America. You see that book, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy is a pornographer. Don't know nothing about Liberia. Wrote a completely pornographic version of the history of Liberia. What do you think about the number of white Americans who are basically stirring up this indigenous Liberian, the American Liberians? Do they have the nerve to talk about, judge the American Liberians at all. You know,
Because you know
they're
what?
really
It's that same divide and conquer crap.
right.
Because there are, and I'm not going to paint a bad brush. There are some white Americans that really love Liberia, that
Yeah.
were there before the war. They were there because my name is Willa Alma. I was
Hmm.
named after a British lady who had come. My father worked at the Suakoko experimental station in Bong County. They were experimenting, with, you're talking in the 50s. I was born 1957. So they had this station up in Bong County where I think it had to do with plants and studying plants. They call it experimenting,
Yeah,
whatever.
I saw that.
I
I
can't
saw that.
right.
The opening of the Bong mines.
Right.
That was the biggest investment in Black Africa at the time.
Exactly. My father worked there. So my mother and my father were there, and that's where I was born. Now, there was a British scientist, and his wife's name was Willa Alma. She
Right.
befriended my mom, and my
Hmm.
mom was very domestic. She could sew and all that. So she made clothes for this lady. Now, my mom hadn't had any children at 40.
Right.
40 something. And at that time in Liberia, that was considered like an old lady to be having a.
Right.
So eventually my mom got pregnant. But
Right.
right when my mom was pregnant, the scientist and his wife, their contract was up and they were heading back to England by ship.
Right.
And so she then said to my mom, if you have a girl, I would like her to be my goddaughter and you can name her Willa Alma, right? So when she left, I was born. And when I was after, and she and her husband had made, great contributions to this experimental station. My mom named me after her. And I tell you something, uh, for the years, from the every year when I grew up, she died when I maybe was 10 or 12. But every year there would be a trunk that would come from England on the ship with everything that a child needs every single year from those people.
Right.
And people were good. So there were really good white people that had, and
Right.
also white Americans that had,
Right.
but I noticed there's a new group of white people that are sort of close to these so-called natives.
Yep. In the
And
Peace Corps.
they're right, and
In
that's
the
what
Peace
you
Corps.
have. Right. So
Yeah.
that's what you have. These
Well, I
people
studied
look
them.
at,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
that's what's happening.
let me ask you a question. You were born in 1957. Let me say this. You were really the children. I call the American librarians. I have a novel called Journey to the Promised Land. It's
Okay.
about the Azor, right? The Bark Azor that came when
Uh-huh.
Tolbert came on. I
Yes,
fictionalized that novel and I made it into a novel.
I
It's
have
on
to.
Amazon. You get it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I call the American librarians the children of God, right? But I
Yep.
do know one thing. You were born in 1957. That means you must have seen the best times in Liberia.
Oh my God. I
You
lived
must
in
have seen the
London.
best times.
I lived I had the
You
perfect,
probably had a life
oh,
that none of us could ever even
I
think
had the
about.
perfect child. I'm telling you, people, that's why I said to Dinus, you have to talk to people like me who were born in the 50s. We had the best because our people had already gone through the toughest time. They had built everything. We had, a stable thing. I mean, everything that was one of the best times between then and up to the 70s. It was the perfect. Other Africans, ask other West Africans who my age. They came from Sierra Leone, they came from Nigeria, they came from Ghana, they came from Senegal. They were still sleeping on mattresses. They had no electricity. They used to come to Liberia to buy sugar and salt
Right.
and
Hmm.
mattresses. I had the best life. I keep telling people that my standard of living was like, I don't know, 5 times higher than when I got here.
Let me tell you something. I was telling one of my partners yesterday. Do you know that Liberia was the only country that had pipe-borne water in all its counties? The Greenville Tower is still there.
Yep,
The tower, pipe-borne water is in
yep,
every county, right? All the
yep,
counties were going to have on the grid, right? We're getting grid from the Mount Coffee Dam and stuff like that.
exactly,
More
exactly.
power plants were going to be in the thing because Guinea was going to build power
Yep,
plants in the highlands and everything
yep,
like that. The whole country was on a trajectory of being
yep.
a first world country by 1990.
Do you know the people that criticize Liberia most, they never experienced the Liberia I experienced.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you
A
guys,
lot of them grew up during the war. They never experienced the Liberia I experienced is like total opposite of the Liberia you see today.
right. And so now, I said to the guy asked, "Oh, America." I said, "Look, man, you guys got everything. You got what you want. Now they're planning a protest
Yep.
in 5 days, which
Right.
could lead to chaos. It
Yep.
could be another, you know what I'm saying? Because they
Yep.
want way to stuff down, and they don't see that's the other thing about the indigenous mind. What I want to talk about,
Hmm.
they don't understand the difference between a village and a republic or a state.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You don't just because somebody you elected that person, right? He's got to
Right.
do his time, you know, and they're
Hmm.
gonna do whatever. You know, all these clowns up there don't know anything. The World
And
Bank
you
is just
elect
spending
them.
money.
This is my point. I said that's what when people were complaining. I said you guys voted for these people.
You
I
voted
mean,
for
it
these
was
people.
obvious. You voted for them.
You voted for. You put them in power. Now
Right.
you complaining that things ain't going well. And so, but the bottom line is, you listen to Eugene Fagon and all these other people talk about the Congo people. That's all they do.
Congo
500 years
people.
from now, these same people we talk about the Congo people,
It's
the
over
Congo
20
boogeyman.
years.
You
There's
know,
no excuse. It's 20 years. If you're the country people are
it's
so
40
smart,
years.
why is it
40 years.
Liberia booming? I mean, it should
Yeah,
be.
it's going down, and it's just sad because we all love this republic. You know, we want to see it
Exactly.
do well, but and then the good they asked, the Liberian said to me, he said, "Man, African Americans are going to Ghana. They should be coming to Liberia." I said, "Well, every time you guys get up with a thing, all you guys talk about, like this girl put a post about a travel blog talking about Liberia. Come to Liberia, right? It was a country that's beautiful and everything, but unfortunately, the citizens of African Americans treat the natives bad and everything.
But right,
You know,
look
you
at
saw
that.
that, right? You know,
So
and
how
I said,
would they
and
come?
everybody said,
Yeah,
you want to attract us to Liberia?
and you're
Okay,
saying
yeah,
that.
just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
You know,
right. So they don't see that it's counterproductive. These people. I am very proud to be African. I'm very proud to be a Liberian, and I will not deny that I'm Americo-Liberian. That's what they call us. That's what I'm calling myself. I can't
right?
call myself any tribe. That doesn't make me less of a Liberian. And I am proud that my ancestor established a society. They
A
built a
republic,
society. They built the schools. They built the institutions. And I am extremely
infrastructure.
proud of it.
They
And
built
I'm not letting
college,
anyone diminish that.
Ricks Institute, Cuttington Institute. They
Exactly.
built all these institutions and everything that other Africans and people used to come there.
The Booker
Namine
Washington
Ezekwe,
Institute, BWI, Booker Washington
Booker
Institute.
T. Washington Institute, you know,
Yep.
all these
Yep.
things. Black America transplanted itself into Africa. That's what basically Liberia is. You
Yep.
know, it said, and they gave everybody, they educated, they care whether you indigenous or they said, we're gonna give all you people. Did the
Right.
whites in South Africa do that? With
Nope.
apartheid? No.
When
They said
Dinus, I told Dinus the next time he comes to Liberia, I'll take him upriver. I'll take you to my family home in Clare Ashland,
I'm probably
and
gonna
I'll
come over
take
there
you
in a
to my
couple of months. I'm
family
gonna
home
get with
in.
you when I come over there.
If you go into the into our family home in Clare Ashland, Louisiana, you'll think you're down south.
Yeah, I told
They read,
Clay
yeah,
Ashley, you
that's
in
right.
Buchanan, right?
Yep.
I got a picture of Buchanan, right? It's like a rural area of Buchanan, right near
Yep.
the water, and
Yep.
it has the ditches, right?
Yeah.
I said only the African American mind. Why?
Right.
Because that looks like any other southern rural town, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with the roads and ditches
Yep.
and everything
Yep.
like that. Like that was basically the African Americans settling in that area and saying,
Yep.
okay, we have to build this and everything. They made replicas of the area that from memory. There was no
Right.
bricks. They
No.
built mansions, you know,
Right.
from memory. They built all this from memory. They built streets,
Yep.
buildings, stone buildings, tall
Yep.
buildings,
Yep.
canals. They did all that.
Everything.
Piers, everything from memory.
Everything. And and the reason why they knew, because these are all skills they learned, a lot of them learned during
They learned
slavery.
in America.
They
Remember
learned it.
something. There were free black communities in America before
That's right.
before Liberia was created. So
Right.
all they did was say, "Look, man, we just go across the ocean again." You know,
Right. Right.
because black people lived in separate. The free black lived in separate communities where they were self-sufficient.
They did. Yeah.
You know, and the only thing they had was the real possibility of being kidnapped and sold back into slavery.
Exactly.
And so they said, "Okay, let's go over there and build a country. We'll be safe." That's all they did.
But the thing, and the thing I like to make is not all of them were there. there were people that came straight from slavery that were not that educated book wise, but they had skills.
Yeah,
And then
skills.
you had the elites, which were the so-called mulattoes, the very light
Yeah,
complexion people.
right.
You know
That ended when E.J. Roy came in. Remember E.J. Roy,
exactly.
Emerald Blyden? Then it
Yep.
shifted, to the
Yep.
upriver people. Upriver people had faith in E.J. Roy because they were like full-blooded Africans. They created what
Exactly.
they call the True Black Man Whig Party in Clay Ashland, the
Right.
True Black Man's Whig Party, and
Yep.
then they created the True Whig Party and whatnot. And
Right.
then ever since then, the True Whig Party has been the ruling party of Africa.
Right.
And then when Hillary Johnson was elected, right, he was
Right.
light skinned. They
Right.
sort of said, "Look, let's put all this behind us and build a
Right. And
nation."
move forward. Yeah.
So therefore, Liberia was way ahead of in America
Way,
as far as
way, way,
colorism and
way
everything.
ahead. Yes.
They're way ahead of America, the
I
Black
mean,
America, as far as like
I tell you something. When I came to school here at
right.
college, I was like making in Liberia. I was a B student. Over here, I was a A+ student. I was shocked about what I knew. I knew my history. I knew my geography. I was well educated.
Yeah,
Before
we don't learn Black history over here.
I was overeducated when I got here to college. I was just like, I'm like, wow, because I expected that American schools would be tougher. I was like, wait, I'm
American
so
schools are
proud of
not.
I was so proud
American
of
schools
the
come on.
education I got, but I got it from I got it from our mission schools. I
Right.
I went to school in Cape Mount at the St. John and Bethany Mission School during my primary years. And then from 9th to 12th grade, I went to school at Conala Academy, which was an Seventh-day Adventist school. Again, another school that was established by all of those mission schools were established by American.
TWA, all that, all
Brumley,
great institutions.
Cuttington, the college,
Huntington, yeah.
all of that, right? And so we had our own culture. We brought the culture from the South. However, what they did, we combined the culture we met on the continent, right?
With
So
local culture.
with the Southern American culture that we came with to form our unique upriver culture.
Right. Yeah. It's beautiful. I look
Beautiful
at some of the
culture.
houses in Clay Ashland. You look at some of the houses in Clay Ashland, you would think you're looking at an African American paradise, back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, this looks like a beautiful southern town, man. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And the town, my mom's hometown is right across the Simplot River on the opposite side.
AME
it's
Church
like
over there.
Yeah, right across there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. And that's where in fact, that's where I'm going back to build myself a little, just a simple house. Because even though with all of the situation, I'm hitting retirement age, I do want to go back and settle because I've been in America. I worked for American Express for 20 years. In the past 10 years, I've worked for Carlson Wagonlit in corporate travel. So I've been in corporate America. I have been in rooms for years where I was the only person that looked like me. So I know how that feels, all the pressures of being the only Black person in certain positions and all that. I know all about that. But one good thing that I really, really praise my ancestors for, I've never had an inferiority complex. I've never felt,
I said that.
I have never felt inferior to any white person. Even when I first got here, I have never felt less than. I've held my head high. And when I went for jobs, if they told me 5 persons told me no, I went to the 6th, and that didn't even faze me. Calling me a nigger doesn't bother me. I'm concerned about institutional racism,
Right,
So and that's one thing Liberians don't have. And another thing I'll say to all my African American brothers and sisters.
Willa, let me interject real quick. People who keep saying, Guyanese, make it balance and bring on a native Liberian, which if you're a native Liberian, I'm going to send you the link. Hold on, Kyle. This is the issue. When American Liberians are being bashed, now one time did I ever hear somebody say, bring on an American Liberian so it can be bashed.
Right.
One time.
Right. We're always bashed.
Yeah. But now it's like, oh, let's make it balanced and bring on.
Let
Oh
me
no,
ask
they
you-
can
let
bring.
me
No,
ask
they
you
can
something.
come on. I
Fine.
just want to say.
Yeah.
No, they can come on. I want to say because I've watched so many videos of them bashing us, but I heard no one defend us. And
Yeah,
even
right.
the
never heard of somebody say, bring on an American Liberian. Let's
no,
say there's
Yeah, let's say that point
not
of view.
one time.
nope. Even
Let's say that.
the few American Liberians that have come, they've always
Oh,
said, "Oh, I'm mixed. Oh, well, I'm half this and half." No, I'm pure. I'm all the way American Liberian. I ain't got no tribe, and if I had a tribe, it's not a problem. But my tribe is. I mean, I'm a Liberian. I claim Liberian, but my ancestors came from over the water. So
right.
that doesn't make me less of a Liberian. If you are
They,
Crew, a Crown, or Gribble, that doesn't make you less of Liberian.
the crews are now in Monrovia
Yep,
taking over buildings,
right.
renaming them. They didn't build it, you know.
No,
The streets,
no.
they didn't build those streets. The
But
stone
you
buildings,
see the
the
native
temple, everything.
mentality. The native mentality is always me, 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 me.
Me,
It's
me, me,
not an
me, me.
inclusive.
They want a nice country, but they don't want to build it. They're
No,
angry. They said, "Well, we should have had better airports when the American Liberians were here." Well, when you took over, they say stuff like that. You know,
what they destroyed it. They
they
destroyed
destroyed
the
it.
infrastructure.
They had
What
Air Liberia. Liberia has its own
Air
company,
Liberia?
Air
Exactly.
Liberia. They destroyed that.
They destroyed everything we built, everything. So don't tell me, I'm not saying we were perfect, but we built the infrastructure, we built the society, we built the schools, we built everything, and you
The roads, the
destroyed it.
factories, the railways, everything.
Exactly. We had a railroad. The railroad ran right through my family's property.
Right.
From Monroe
The
ran
bog
right
mine, the
through.
bog mine rail, the bog mine.
Exactly.
And the bog mine built a power plant, a dressing plant and everything like that. And it
Yep.
basically was it was the largest investment at the time in Black Africa.
Yep.
At the time, Kwame Nkrumah, right, couldn't get this sort of investment in his bauxite,
Nope.
because Ghana was just not stable. Same thing with
No.
Nigeria. Nigeria
Liberia
at the
was the
time,
most stable place.
it was a stable place. The only place that could have happened, the bong mines, was Liberia. Because
Right.
Liberia was one of the broken powers that ended World War II and World
Right.
War One.
They were
powerful.
Liberian. Some of
The
my family
Cadmores and all
fought
these people,
in
the
World War
Gingers,
II. We have
World War II.
records from World War II in Liberia. They fought
Yeah.
in the war. Yep.
Yeah, we had African American soldiers that still stationed there.
Yep.
Liberia has always been a part of world politics for since its inception.
Yep.
So when time came, and not only that, let's give credit to include the Massaquoi family.
Right.
They were
Right.
indigenous family, but they were one of the most educated, powerful
Yeah.
families.
They came from Lofa. They came from Lofa County, I believe.
No, Cape Mount. They came from Cape Mount. And
Oh, the five, Massaquoi five. Yeah, I'm thinking of Massaquoi five. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played football with one of the Massaquoi at the University of Georgia.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the Massaquois.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of the Kesselis. The Kesselis came from Lofa County.
Yeah, and I know people that's related to them. And the Massaquois was one of the powerful families in Liberia.
Yeah.
They were indigenous. They saw the light when the settlers came there. Matter of fact, if it's not for the Massaquois and the Vi tribe, right, Liberia would be smaller than what it is because they said, "Look, man, we're gonna give our allegiance over here." Even though Liberia, we lost the Galenas, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it had not been for the Massaquois and all the family like that, the England would have controlled all the way at Monrovia. They would have took all Cape Mount,
And Cape Mount is a beauty. Cape Mount, the Vi people are one of the more, what can I say, cooperative tribes.
Yeah.
The Vi's and the
Pellet. Educated.
Yeah, the Vi people are some of the most educated Liberians.
Yeah, and now that they married into this idea that this is another thing. American Liberians didn't marry. They're like, they married Africans all the time. The American Liberian women marry African people all the time. Yep. Both sides, male and female.
A lot of the Vi's married Congo women because I was in Cape Mount and there's a whole community. They used to say the Vi people used to say Congo menu, meaning the Congo people. So so the Congo, these men, a lot of them married. They married Congo women.
Yeah.
And the reason why, what would happen is a lot of Liberian men who were educated ended up marrying Congo women. You see,
Right,
this is
right,
the
yeah, yeah.
little dirty
King
secret. A
Mastercoin.
lot of
King
so-called Native
Mastercoin married
men
Hillary.
married Congo women, and when they
Exactly.
married Congo women, they so-called became, I don't know, quote unquote, whatever. So, yeah, a lot. And so in Cape Mount, what you have was a lot of the Vi men were married to the educated ones were married to Congo women. So you had a combination of
Right.
the Vi culture and the Congo culture, and
Yeah.
that's what when I came into Cape Mount, like the Shermans and some of those other prominent families in Cape Mount. The fathers were Vi and the mothers were Congo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like common,
Check out
and that and
King
that happened across
Mastercoin
the board.
married
Well,
Hillary
Carla,
Johnson.
we have our guest on. Great
Well, I
African.
want to
Introduce.
hold. Let me say this. Let me say this, Dinus. King
Hey, y'all,
Mastercoin,
you
who
can
was
hear me?
supposed to
Y'all
be
can hear me? Y'all hear me
previous
good?
president, married. Hold on. Let me say this, brother. Married Hillary Johnson's daughter, right? And that was
Exactly.
my novel on that. You know,
Yeah.
so he was
Make
Black
got
Prince. He
enough
married
light.
the Hillary Johnson's daughter. You know.
Okay,
Right.
our great African. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Thanks for having me on.
We
I
can't hear
watch
you,
your
brother.
show all the time, and Carla,
Brother, we can't hear
you have
you.
a lot of historical knowledge.
Bro,
So
we can't
I
hear
want
you.
to
And I
say
can't hear him. Can you hear him?
that is there a lot of feedback?
There's a lot of feedback.
We can't hear him.
I can hear you, but there's a lot of feedback.
You can hear me?
I can't hear him. At all.
Okay, I'll take my time. Okay, first off, I'm
And Willa,
a
can you hear
native
him?
Liberian. 100% native Liberian. I'm from
Hey,
Nimba County.
hold on. Great African. Do you have earphones by chance?
Yeah, I can get some.
Put them in, please.
Okay. Just
All
one
right,
second.
let me get some.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
All right.
Okay. Put them in,
I'm
please.
gonna grab some. I'm gonna grab some earphones. I gotta run up the steps here.
Okay.
But I think this is a good discussion overall.
Okay.
And
I
we
just
need
have to
have
grab a
all
drink. I'll be right
perspectives.
Okay.
All right. So I can find something here. I was watching the Lakers game, but this got my interest. So can you hear me anyway?
Yeah.
Put your
All right. Okay, I can't even find any headphones. Hopefully you can hear me now.
It's just a lot of feedback.
I can't hear him at all.
All right. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna find some headphones and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Kyle, you couldn't hear him at all?
I could not hear him at all.
Really?
Yeah. I could hear him, but yeah, I could hear him.
Yeah, we can hear him.
All I heard was a bunch of rumble. I could not hear him at all.
Oh, okay.
But what I was saying was the problem is this. Like I said, you have a lot of people. The people that want to demonize the American Liberians for some strange reason. It's the same people that want to demonize Black America. It's the same one and the same. You know, there's an attack on Black America for some strange reason. Everybody likes Black American culture, but everybody wants to demonize us all the time. You know, anytime Liberia was a win. I'm gonna put that in a win column. We'll check that off as a win column. Liberia should be in the African American Museum. You know, the museum doesn't have any credibility when you leave out a great history like that. You know,
Yeah.
you know that's part of the African American story. Our story doesn't end in America. Our story extends into Liberia. Anywhere where our slave ancestors, because they were slaves, they were blood of slaves, the blood of the Malafa, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We created a life here in America where we were persecuted. We're the children of God. You know what I'm saying? Because we're the people without a land. The only thing we got is God. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know. So the bottom line is this. You know, what we made a mistake was thinking that we were safe in Liberia, right? We were safe. We didn't understand.
This
at the
is
time
it.
that
We never thought it could happen there.
we never thought it could happen. You know?
My mom, I brought my mom here when she was 70 something years old after the war, and she died here at 87. And that was one of the conversations we used to have. My stepfather just passed away like about 4 months ago. He died like and that was what he's always said. He never could believe that what happened would happen like that. Even if they had a war and they had kept safe the infrastructure and then develop the country, yeah. But to destroy everything, that's the hateful part.
Take the copper out of the
walls and kill and line people up and kill them, and that was so barbaric. Oh my God, that hurts.
All right, great after. Go ahead, great after. Great African, we can't hear you. Great African, we can't unmute yourself. All right, go ahead. We can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
On the bottom screen, there should be a mute thing.
No, he's not mute. I guess his earphones aren't.
You're going in and out.
I can't hear.
Can't hear you,
brother.
I can only see.
Hear me now?
Yeah, take the phone. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, well, I guess the earphone thing's not working. So, but I think
what's up, brother?
This discussion is taking a turn where we're talking the same old native Congo divide. And
we didn't start it, bro.
There's a lot.
We didn't start this. We didn't start. We only.
So there's a lot of things. There's a lot that we can be proud of as Liberians. Okay, in the first place, I just want to tell you my perspectives is I am a native Liberian.
Right.
I'm from the Ma tribe. Mono, as in Mono River Union. The reality is we were put in the books as Mono, but we're really the Ma. It was just that the American Liberians, when they first encountered the Pella people, they asked them who we were, and the Pella said, Ma, no, which in Pella means Ma people. So we're in the books as Mono people, if you translate it directly. Okay, so here's the thing, the situation here, like our favorite president of all time in Liberia was Stolberg. Okay, so all the things that you talk about, Kala, all the glory days of Liberia, all those geopolitical moves, that was all talk. Okay, prior to that, we had Coons. Okay, and we can go way back. Tubman, the so-called glory days, he was also a Coon.
I don't
think so.
Don't call him a Coon. That's disrespectful.
Don't call him a
Coon. Well, I would say,
what he had to do.
Look, I mean, I'm just being real. I'm being real here.
That's your perspective. You see, that's the thing.
Okay, great. That's my perspective.
That's my ancestor. Don't call him a Coon.
Okay, well,
That was my
I won't call him a Coon.
You understand?
Okay, he was a horrible president then.
Africans, right? They want to put Liberia in a different category.
Okay,
right? But when it comes to like white countries, they give every excuse. You know
let me not get into the. Hold on here. Let me just.
You use the word Coon. Speak politically. Don't use.
Well, you said you were talking to natives. You were talking about natives as barbaric. Just a lot of things that you said.
The war was barbaric. I didn't say natives. I said the war. So if natives executed the war, then I said the war was barbaric. I didn't say natives. It was barbaric. You killed a lot of people.
Yeah, the war was.
Let me say something. I can see that you're a good brother, intelligent brother. You know what I'm saying? Are you in Liberia right now?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna be over there soon. The type of Liberians I would love to meet. I have friends.
Listen, I'm in Liberia. I'm well invested in Liberia. I'm well invested. You can check out my.
So am I.
Listen.
I have more.
I came to Liberia. I came from Liberia to escape the war. Okay. Right. So I have family that was killed, affected by the war.
So did I. Every Liberian did. Every Liberian, whether you're Congo or native, you were. Yep. You had. I have people killed in the war too.
Okay, great after. Let me ask you this. You talk about the war in 1990 or what war?
I'm talking about the war. The war. I left Liberia after the first coup. Not the first coup. When after the first coup. Yeah. after the first coup.
When they assassinated all of the ministers and stuff.
So this is my question. Why did you leave after the first coup? Like, what was the objective of the first coup, and why did you leave?
The first coup, okay, here's the thing. So the first coup was executed, obviously, I believe, by the CIA. Okay. I
gotta take some responsibility.
believe that Liberia was getting to a point where we were dealing with our issues. Okay. Tolbert actually had some programs that were progressive. He had some natives that were able to get an education, but he was moving too slow. Okay. But when he gave that speech at the United Nations in 1979 or something like that,
No,
where
it was
76?
Yeah.
Okay, where he said that the Palestinians have a right to self-determination. He had a very, very he was anti-apartheid. He spoke to the joint sections of Congress. He became a marked man. Okay, so at that point, you got to understand what the Cold War. He actually increased the U.S. The Russian embassy staff. We established diplomatic relations with communist Romania. These are all the things that caused his demise.
Well, let me ask you a question. Gray African. Let me cut you already. Let me start right here. Now, like we said, a lot of Liberians always say you guys start giving us respect and everything, right? But here's the thing: I'm gonna give Native Liberians respect.
Sorry,
Marcus Matthews wasn't ignorant. It wasn't uneducated. Yeah, he was educated. You know, Amos Sawyer. All these people were educated, right?
Very educated. Very educated.
These weren't stupid people that we say, "Oh, the CIA manipulated one." They basically saw the shift, right? And they went to the CIA. See, listen about the CIA. They won't come into a country and do anything, right? Unless they got support on the ground. That's what Shayla.
They have to be invited. They have to be invited. Yeah.
Hey, the CIA. What I would tell you this: the CIA is coming in if they have interest.
They went to the CIA and basically said, "Look, man, if you back us and whatnot, we are going to do what you want. You got to understand something." They didn't understand what Tubman was
I know
doing.
all those people you name. I know them personally. I know all those people personally.
Look,
so they were in.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's talk. Let's. Okay. So Dinah's asked me a question about the coup, so I answered a question about the coup and what my thoughts are on that. Okay. The other thing here is, I'm a proud Liberian. Number one, American Liberians contributed a lot to Liberia, and the founding of Liberia, I think, is a miracle that Liberia exists to this day. So there are a lot of great things that they did. But the issue I have is when we sugarcoat the atrocities and the wrongdoings that were meted out against the so-called native people. My grandparents, I'm from Nimba, way up country. Okay, there was absolutely no development. Okay, until they discovered iron ore in Mount Nimba. Okay, otherwise we were basically relegated to be on our own. My parents were the first to know how to write, to speak English, first of all, and then learn how to even read and write English. I'm a second generation person. It had nothing to do with, there were no public schools in Ganta where I grew up. There was one, but there was just one school in the whole area. We were lucky to have the Methodists build a school. We're lucky to have further up country St. Mary's. So different people, different organizations.
This
in place.
This issue I have, Great Africa. Why are the Americos demonized for not, I guess, developing, we'll say, Nimba or the suburbs or the outskirts of the main city? When every country I travel to in Africa,
they're just like that.
But for some reason,
it's
demonized. Country in Africa.
Well, I'll give you an example.
Pipe-borne water in their rural areas. You know, they were considered, but there was limited funds. You know what I'm saying? It was, you got to put it in the context. Liberia was a developing country. It wasn't an industrialized nation. You know, it did not have the infrastructure. They were trying to do that.
Yeah, listen. You know, we didn't have. Listen, this is the other thing. The thing here, okay. If you look at Liberia, I'm just speaking of Liberia, even the Mount Coffee Dam that you're talking about, 63 megawatts, that was just meant for Monrovia. Even today in Liberia, where
I'm operating, Farmington still pulled out megawatts. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So yeah, 64 mega. Monrovia was only supposed to be 200,000 people, right? That was all supposed to be. Liberia's population was only 1 million. You can't have 1 million people, the whole entire country, in one city. You know, that's what the problem was. You know,
Yeah, look. So look. Again, I don't want to get into demonizing American Liberians. I'm just sticking to
that's
facts.
good, because all I hear is demonization all the time. So
right, and also here's the thing about it is this. Okay, Liberia does not exist without the native people. Okay, we got to understand.
And vice versa.
Vice versa.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. But the history of Liberia, everybody says 1822. Okay,
look,
but the fact is, when the first
Grebos, look, there's a book called On African Shores, right? This guy read a book like this, right? On the history of Maryland County. They go into the Grebo. I studied the Grebo history, you know what I'm saying? I studied the Vi history, you know what I'm saying? I studied all those histories and everything like that.
That's good.
There was no country called Liberia. There were tribal.
Of course, there was no country. See, here's the thing. Let me just break this down, okay? So here's a rhetoric. This is the rhetoric of Liberia. Okay, there was a bush. There was nobody there. It was just a free place.
Who said that? That's not the history I learned. No, that's not what I learned. No.
Listen. Hold on. So look, the fact is, the first settlers went to Sierra Leone. The British were in control. They couldn't settle there. Okay. Then they had to come to Perseverance Island, which was later called Providence Island.
Yeah.
And they were able to negotiate with local chiefs. Okay. So the fact is, when you talk about the love of liberty brought us here, but we say, hey, the love of liberty met us here.
Oh, hold. Let me. Hey, great African. Hey, I gotta stop right there. I got. Let me stop right there. Give me like 3 minutes, right? Give me 3 minutes. Add to that, and tell me what you think about this. Now, there was when the settlements happened and about the land before they will cross over the river, the Macerado, and go into that land right there, and the ACA and the people start building rows of houses and everything. And before the settlers could arrive over there, go into new houses, the indigenous chief said they want the land back. So, you guys clear the land, slots on Snapper Hill. Oh, wow, we want that land back, you know. Now, what was happening is there was a large numbers of people coming from that were recaptured, right? Southern Liberia, right? Lovell Liberty,
right? Recaptured. That's another significant history of Liberia that's important.
There was a large numbers of people coming from the interior, indigenous people, right? Said, look, Lord, they say they saw what the so-called Americans they were doing. They said, I want to be a part of this, right? I'm tired of being up there working for the chief, getting sold around everything. I want to come join you. That weakened the power of the paramount chiefs, right? Because
listen. Look.
So therefore,
Kala, brother,
liberty.
Hold on. Let me tell you this, right. Kala. Okay, let me tell you why Liberia was not completely under the control of Europeans. Okay, when the settlers arrived, this is my theory. Okay, Liberia is a unique country in that the secret societies in Liberia cross multiple tribes. Okay, so you can't just easily infiltrate Liberia. It wasn't worth. So, like my people, where I'm from in Nimba, we have stories of resisting white people. Okay. If you look at it, on one end you have the on one end of us you have the French, on the other end of us you have the French, and then the other end of us you have the British. Okay, so yes, the American Liberians brought in by declaring independence, we were able to remain free. So it was a marriage that gave birth to Liberia. It's not just
a good marriage.
People coming across from the ocean, and yeah, it should be celebrated. It should be celebrated, but it should be
we all contribute. This is it. What frustrates me is the natives and the Americans and the people that came from Congo. We all joined to make Liberia what it is today.
That's right. That's why this is why
Americans.
But everybody wants to throw the American Liberia.
Let me just break it down. Listen, I'm a proud Liberian. Okay, because I always say Americans have a history. Okay, of atrocities in this country. So there's nothing that the American Liberians did in Liberia that equals to what happened here in America. Okay, and yet we can still be proud to be American. So for that, I'm proud Liberian. Period.
Yeah, well, I can tell,
Okay?
you need
Number
to spread
two.
that message
Number
out
two.
there.
If you're talking about building or moving or repatriating to Africa, Liberia is the spot. Okay, it's not Ghana, it's not Nigeria, it's none of that. It's Liberia. Number one. That's the sleeper. Okay, it's the sleeper
on the continent.
It's the sleeper on the continent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like us to take the discussion to what investments can we make in Liberia that can build the country, and
First of all,
also
let's invest in love. How about that? Let's try that. You know what I'm saying? All this divisive stuff. I mean,
Get rid of it.
You say when I look at white go to South Africa, all I see is Negroes, right, from African America. Oh, color doesn't matter. Forgive the white man. Forgive them, stuff like that, you know. But when it comes to other black people, we're not. Man,
We're unforgiving. We're unforgiving.
You're
Yeah.
unforgiving, you know?
We're unforgiving. We survived. Listen, they had a Berlin Conference of 1850 something. We actually lost territory. If you look at the original map of Africa after the Berlin Conference, we lost territory. Okay, but we were like the only place that was actually free.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're like the Haiti. We're hated on because we're almost hated on, just like the Haitians.
Just
We're
like
how dare
exactly.
actually form a country. Okay.
We were
That's what
actually
it is.
successful. We were successful in a really difficult time.
Yeah.
Right. So look, what I would encourage everybody here is look, Liberia has fertile soil. Let's look at investing in agriculture. Liberia was never mapped out. Liberia was never mapped out like how the colonial governments mapped out all these other places when it comes to natural resources. Okay. We have not been it hasn't been discovered some of the things that we have. Okay, because we didn't have a colonial European master to scour the whole entire country.
We have a lot of natural resources.
It has a lot. It has a beautiful culture, beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful history.
And we have the best food.
And Americans will fit right in. African Americans will fit in better in Liberia. African Americans will fit comfortably.
Yeah, African Americans will do well as a first step into Africa because it's familiarized, you know, and like I said, all this stuff. I don't know who's behind this on the internet, but there's
all the negative stuff. Yeah,
put out all this hate, this hate, and it's dangerous. It scares people. You know,
it is.
like,
it's scary.
It's scary. It's scary. It's like,
excuse me. Great African. I'm sorry. I have a very good friend you may know from Nimba. Dr. Ni Kwanyatayo. He's a great writer.
Dr. Yatayo. Yes. I know him very well.
He is my neighbor, my very good friend.
He was my name is C. Okay. So
how do you spell it for me?
Write it down. Kidau. He knew my father very well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's my very good friend. He actually lives less than a block from me, and believe it or not, he invited me to participate in the Ganta Mission School project.
Okay, that's where I went to school. Yes.
Okay, so the Ganta Mission School thing here, I've been acting like as the secretary for that, even though I have no connection. Just to let you know that I do have a very good friend that is from Dr. Tyre, and he lives right down the street from me.
Yeah. Tell him I say hello. Tell him say Kido. He'll know who I am.
Okay, I will. You see there? So we have a connection.
It's a small country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Tyre, I go way back.
He's a very brilliant mind. He's written a lot of really good books. Very brilliant. Oh, and Dinus, I have to introduce you to him. He's a brilliant man.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's one thing I want to do this. I did my 23andMe DNA. It may or may not be relevant here, right? But I want y'all to know that as of right now, I have over 800 DNA relatives in the United States.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow, yeah.
800.
More than 800 people. A cousin of mine,
I know.
Good. Because look, like our people were brought to America to grow rice. Okay? That's what it is. So if you look at like South Carolina, when you talk about all these places, we have the technology. Like right now, the rice project that I'm doing, we discovered that our people have over 200 varieties of rice.
Are you working with Janine Cooper?
No, I'm not. No, I'm
You know
not.
who she is?
I've seen her on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, she just what? That's another thing. You ain't just like African Americans. Same thing. Y'all be we black people in America, black people in Africa. Y'all could be right next to each other working on the same
And
thing.
working the same thing and not connected. Not right.
Not connected. You know, she's
we just have to.
She's doing the rice thing and everything. And I've known her for years and everything. She's doing really well. I want to see Liberian rice in America. You know,
exactly.
I want to see Liberian products in America. You know, that's a win.
That's what I'm saying.
For you.
And I have a farm. I have a farm in right between I don't know if you know where Louisiana is. Louisiana is just after Caldwell, the town there.
I'm familiar.
Okay, right. And then right next to Louisiana, there's Sasstown. So back in 1847, my great-great-great-great-grandfather bought 100 acres of land that is a farm. It's still a farm today, believe it or not. And the people that are on it have been on there for generations. They're from the Teller tribe. It's still there, and that's where I plan to settle when I go back home. So I still have my farm. So that goes to tell you my investment. I'm strongly connected to Liberia. I'm not a Liberian. Even with the situation that happened with American Liberians in the war, and a lot of people got killed. Now the American Liberian population's less. I always knew that I would settle back in Liberia and go back and settle on my land. I won't sell it to anyone. I won't sell like an acre of it to anyone. You know.
No, we have to see if we're not careful, we're gonna lose Liberia.
Right. Let's worry about the Lebanese. The Chinese.
What's that?
The Chinese, the Lebanese,
We African Americans, American Liberians, we call Congo people, are not the enemy.
No,
we're not the enemy.
No.
You know, that's why these silly discussions are based on
great
tribalism.
I'm passionate because I watch, even though I'm like a senior citizen, I follow YouTube. I follow all the top, all of the major YouTubers, as long as they're progressive and they're talking about Africa, they're talking about something educational. I follow everything that's happening with the newer generation because I'm really interested.
Okay.
So I've never. You have your own channel?
Well, yeah, I just started a little something. It's it's Great African. It's not It's not anything. It's not ready to be live, and
Right.
But basically, what I did that I'm just trying to document the progress that we're making. Our goal is to be the premier provider of food in the Republic of Liberia. So we're starting very humble. We're gonna get mechanized. But this is what it is. We have to control. We cannot be a country that eats rice 2-3 times a day
and bring it from outside.
Yeah, that's what Albert. Let's talk about I'm gonna get everybody's opinion. Dinosaur let me about the rice riots. There's a misinformation, Mrs. Chenoweth, misinformation that the PRC used to say. This is another thing. I thought with the age of technology, right? I said, okay, well, everybody got smartphones and everything, but it seems black people everywhere are getting dumber, even with technology. They created a false thing. Oh, the Tolbert's going to starve everybody because they're going to raise prices. It was a suggestion to boost the tariffs,
the production,
imports. So it's to stimulate the upriver. The sweet rice upriver in Lofa County that they have was going to flood the Liberian rice markets, and the exchange, foreign exchange, would put Liberia in a even better trajectory because they're not importing rice. But they use that. Marcus Matthews used that to say, look, the Tolberts are trying to get rich off rice, and they cause the rice riots. Liberia never recovered from that rice riot 40 years ago. Never recovered from that rice riot. And so the same sort of tactics they use today. The Congo people are bleeding the people. They're stealing. No evidence, no nothing. But you say that enough to the people who don't know any better, right? The people are angry, legitimately angry.
This is the mistake. Let me tell you what the mistake that Tolbert made on that whole situation. if you're going to do an initiative to have homegrown rice, you have to put in the infrastructure and the to
he
help
did with the rally
people.
time.
You can't give people cutlasses and machetes and say go grow rice.
You watch that
increase the price of rice, But I get what he was trying to do.
He had that in place, with the rally time project.
Well, the thing about it is there were a lot of things that needed to be done before we start raising the price of rice to encourage domestic production. First, you got to have domestic production, and that's what the focus needs to be.
Hey, you know what he really needed? You know what he needed, Great African? He needed those young people to go into rice farming, which they refused to do.
Yeah.
He needed people to go into rice farming. He said, "Look, we need you. You guys got to get it right." Everybody wanted to go to Monrovia and get the hustle on. Nobody wanted to farm.
Nobody wanted to farm because everybody thought that farming was like the poor man's thing, and if you got
that's the problem.
Educated,
the American Liberians,
you're not supposed to be farming.
Nope, never stopped farming. My great grandfather farmed. My grandfather farmed. My grandmother. We all farm. We still farming today. We're still farming. Yep. We never stopped farming, but somehow the majority Liberian got this thing that if you work with your hands, that means
you're low class.
It means you're not educated.
Right.
Well, look, I would say this. Okay. When I was in Liberia, the best memories I have is going and hanging out with my grandparents on the farm.
Right.
I was never hungry. There was always food.
Me too.
When I was a kid in North Carolina, right? Yeah. I used to go to my granddaddy's farm. Both sides of my farm had farms, right? We used to be out there. We had corn, we had chickens, we had hogs, we had everything like that. My granddad out there was overalls. Hey, look, bring the chicken's neck, wherever, like that. Farming, right? It was in us, right? But guess what? We did a lot of work, and then on the summer when I was 8, 9 years old, I was out there on a farm field. Working. Working. 8, 9 on my summer vacations, right? We're doing hard work. Cutting down trees and cutting down wood, right? That was it. But yet on Sunday, right? Everybody, my granddaddy, he had a nice shiny suit on, my grandmother and all the girls had their hair done and going to church.
I'm gonna put on a picture of my great grandfather.
But they were working in the fields all week and whatnot. But on Sunday it looked so good and whatnot. And then when he's sitting around with his pipe and whatnot, reading a book, and stuff like that. How can you call that man uneducated? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna hold it up. Hold on.
That's in Liberia?
That's in Liberia. That's my great grandfather on the farm. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to put it in the picture.
So, while you do that, this is one more thing that Liberia owes. Liberia owes Haiti for its existence, also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And Sierra Leone.
Right. Because without Haiti, so with the Haitian Revolution and all the French farmers that came to Virginia as refugees with those horror stories, slave rebellions in the United States quadrupled. Okay. And that's part of the impetus that led to the creation of this marriage between the slave owners and the so-called Quakers that came up with the American Colonization Society and all of these things. So, so the diaspora has always had some type of, impact on the African continent. There's a lot of things in Liberia that came from the African diaspora. So we talk about African influence on diaspora, but there's a lot that was brought in also.
Right.
Okay, so that's why, for example, if I mean, not to get into anthropology, but I can tell you exactly every single food item that was brought from abroad to Liberia based on what my people name it. Okay, they put a prefix before it, and then they describe it with something that is similar. So, for example, duck. In my language, duck is called tall, but chicken is tall. But is huito means duck, means that it was brought by the Creole. You understand?
And Liberian food is delicious.
Yeah,
food.
But that food is
it's a
delicious.
mix.
Liberian food it's
It's
like
a
African
combination.
food
It's
and
a combination
food
of
and all
the.
in one thing, man. It's
Yep.
delicious.
Correct. So you have Jamaican, American, African, all the influences is right there in Liberia. Okay? So we have to take advantage of it. But I encourage everybody on here to really have a Liberia plan. Okay, Africa is a huge place, but have a Liberia plan. Look at Liberia. I think you have the best opportunity to actually do something.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think
think
so too. I
think
agree.
African Americans will.
that want a piece of Africa
Yep.
visit. My friend Naya, who's going to Liberia now, I'm supposed to go with him. But his mother passed away. He's going to go to Nimba. And he's going to bury his mother in Nimba County this week. You know.
Yeah.
And so you probably heard of her. I don't know if you know about my boy Naya Sindola. You know Naya Sindola, Rhode Island.
Yes, I know Naya.
You know Naya. That's my brother. That's my brother
Yeah.
right there. If you want
Sendolo. Yeah, I know him very well.
That's my brother right there. Him and
Ask him about Say. He knows me very well. His mom just passed away about 2 weeks ago.
His mother just passed away. You know? So bottom line, those are my Liberian brothers, and they're indigenous. You know.
Well, you know what, Tyler? You gotta come to Nimba.
I said when I go to Liberia, I said I'll try to make it up to Nimba. I just gotta get to Liberia, you know.
Nimba is the Texas of Liberia. Nimba is the Texas of California and New York all wrapped in one.
How far is the drive from Monrovia up to Nimba? Is it a couple of hours?
It's about 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, okay.
Yeah. 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on the checkpoints.
Yeah. Oh, and Great African, can you give me your email? And can you spell your name for me? Because I'm going to call Dr. Tyre when I hang up with you.
Okay. I'll give you my email.
Okay.
It's SEI KIDAU @gmail.com.
@gmail.com. Okay. And my email is my first name, like you see it. It's Willa. And it's dot and my middle name Alma ALMA @gmail. It's Willa.Alma @gmail. Yeah.
Well, what I'll do, I'll email both you guys to CC each other on it, so you can have.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because I definitely want to. I would let Dr. Tyre know because he's my very good friend and colleague. Yeah, he's
definitely.
So you see, so there is a connection between really bright so-called natives and really bright so-called American.
But we gotta look at these trolls online, right?
Yeah.
They have us fighting, insulting each other back and forth and everything. And then like, we don't have discussions like this. Like, why? Because Great African is a winner. He's trying to win.
Right.
Miss Willa is a winner. Diane's a winner. Carl's a winner. So we all say, well, how are we going to win? We all know the story back and forth. Right. But how is it that what we're going to pass on to the next generation?
Yeah, because we all benefit. Right. We all have. We're going to have children and grandchildren to benefit from it.
Right.
Liberia is a small country, as we can see right here. 3 random people got on Dinah's show, and every one of us knew somebody.
Right. Very small. We all know each other.
Yeah.
So, so that's my information. We're looking at. Look, I'm serious about business. Okay, so anybody that's really wants to do something,
there's gonna be people coming.
I have a blueprint. I have a blueprint. I think it's the best blueprint. Period.
Rest assured.
Okay. If you don't,
Liberia is gonna be on the map. You know, it's gonna be on the map.
If you don't have a Liberia plan, then you got to get one.
Do you know, I've been watching like the year of return, right? For the past 2 months, I've been crying my eyes out. I'm so jealous. And I'm like, why the heck isn't this happening for Liberia? Why?
You have more fun in Liberia.
I'm so jealous of this whole, thing.
Look, Liberia, if you look, one thing I can say, I can be proud of my country. We don't have any slave castle. You're not going to visit any slave castle when you come to Liberia. It doesn't exist. Okay.
Yeah, it's about Liberia is about the return. The return, right? It's not just slavery. It's the return. It's not all slavery.
No.
Also Black people, and we'll also settle in Africa. We also learned the African colloquy,
Right.
We learned a lot of stuff like that. So that right there, as you said, we built a republic in Africa.
The story of Liberia is the success of the African diaspora. You know.
This is the only country.
settling in
This is the
Africa,
only
you know?
country that actually captured slave ships and repatriated them back to Africa.
You know,
Okay.
they tapped the slave ships and dumped them on the thing and imprisoned slave captains. You know, Liberia ended the slave ships on the coast because they would capture ships, right, and then they would take those ships, clean them up, and use them as trading ships.
Yeah.
You know, how
No,
you think J.J.
because
Robbins and all
our
them got
people
their
came
ships
from
on that?
slavery. We came from slavery, so we had a sensitivity to the issue. I think the African kings and chiefs, even though there was slavery on the continent, they really didn't understand the concept of the Western slavery. Because in African slavery, like the chiefs would fight, they would capture people, they would stay in their village but I don't think they understood exactly what was going to happen to their ancestors that went across the water. I really
so
don't
either.
think they didn't
Look,
really
we
know
gotta
that.
we need to invest. We need to invest in Liberia and become massively successful. Okay. There's a lot of wounds and issues, but we have to have one shiny country on the African continent that everybody can be proud of.
Exactly.
Okay?
And it won't take much.
Liberia.
It won't take much. It won't take too much and too long.
Yeah, just some love and unity.
Right.
Like I said, Liberia, Liberia's in the crosshairs, and more Black America. Liberia needs to be in the Smithsonian. It's already in the African American Encyclopedia. You know, look at it, buy a set of African American Encyclopedia. They got like 5 pages on Liberia, which is a good thing. You know, it's like I was like, wow. You know, it's an African American site. So more and more people starting to include Liberia in the history of Black America, and you're gonna see more and more people looking at this country like this. But we can't let these negative people. Oh, they came over there and enslaved the natives. Blah blah blah. So I don't want.
And that's all you hear, and that makes my hair rise, because is that the only line about this enslaved us? Oh, there were apartheid. I'm not saying that the American Liberians were perfect, but they talk about their contributions, and of course they made mistakes. Every group of people who founded any country made mistakes.
Of course.
Look, if you can raise the American flag and die for the American flag, I can die 10 times for the Liberian flag. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can settle it, you know. And like I said, I accept the fact that George Weah's president. I'm like this, you know, and the indigenous people that are mad. Hey, elections have consequences, right? All we're saying is just let us do our thing, you know. Let all of us want to get along, do our thing. Y'all run the government, you know. That's what you wanted, you know. You got it. You know?
And Dinus, I want to thank Dinus with all my heart, because I'm so proud that I'm forwarding all of my friends because they all tell me, because I've always been like really, really politically aware, even though I'm in travel, I've never been in part, but I grew up, I had no choice. My grandfather, Coleman, who, you know, if you know the book, the Plot That Field, the book was about him, and it was about our family. So I grew up every day for the rest of my life. I couldn't help it, hearing about Liberian politics. So I grew up at the table. I knew about the Plot That Failed. I knew about the
Let me ask you a question. Are you cousins to his daughter, Coleman's daughter? I guess you're cousins to his daughter, because you look just like.
My stepfather was William Coleman's son. My stepfather was one of the sons. So all of the Colemans. So I don't know which daughters, but all of the David Coleman.
You know that documentary, America's Stepchild. She was in the documentary.
Yes. So all of the Colemans from Clay Ashland were related. If you're from Clay Ashland, you're Coleman or a Dixon, then we're related.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah. All right. So go ahead, Will, and then what we'll do. We'll close.
I was going to say thank you, Dinus. I'm very proud, and I'm very proud of what you did, because I forwarded your videos to everybody that I know, and I'm checking up on them to make sure they watched it. Because even Liberians that I know don't know the history, and because they're like, it's just somewhere out there. But I think it's important, and I really appreciate that you make an effort to go to these countries and go on ground and talk to people and I really appreciate it. And I've watched all of your countries you've been to, but I'm most proud of you going to Liberia.
Oh, this was
And
the best. That
I'm
was the
so
best.
proud.
I was like, yeah,
I'm
I
so
told
proud
Dinus.
that
Yo,
you
I said he
stayed
used to
with.
be on CNN.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm not
Dinah
CNN.
stayed.
Yo,
He
that
stayed at
was a
my
good. That
family's
was a
house.
good interview,
So I'm
man.
very proud of that. I'm proud that you stayed at my family's house. And when the next time you come back, I'm gonna be there to take you up the river to Clay Ashland, Louisiana, and everywhere.
So,
I
Dinus,
wasn't
you're gonna have
Clay
to also
Ashland.
get
I
your
wasn't Clay
Liberian
Ashland.
citizenship.
Right.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have to get
Liberia.
Liberian citizenship.
Hey, listen, they give it to me. I'll if
Oh,
they
I think I'm
offer
gonna
it,
grab my
no
citizenship
problem.
while if they offer
Yeah,
it.
we now, according to our Supreme Court, you can now have dual citizenship.
Dual citizenship. Yeah, hey,
Perfect.
hey, I'll
So,
go there. I'm gonna fill out
yeah.
the paperwork. You know,
Yep.
I'll see what happens.
Apply for it.
So Liberia is where's that?
Good.
And
Yeah.
Dinus, I'm sitting here on site. I'll give you land for free. You just have to fill out the paper.
Okay, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
I'll take it. All right, thank you.
Okay.
I know somebody.
Hey,
But
if we get enough people together who want to actually do some serious investing to make some
Exactly.
money,
Oh, that's so, bro.
I'm talking like
That's coming.
maybe $2,000 to
Not
get in.
much, right?
But
It doesn't
these
take
are
much
things
to
that
invest.
we can do.
That's not
Right.
bro. That's coming.
Mhm.
That's all that's
all right,
coming.
well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed
Thank
this
you.
conversation.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. I'm gonna email
Thank you.
you.
Well, I look
Thank
for
you,
your
Great
email.
African. Thank you,
Okay.
Dinus. You know,
Thank you, Carla Genesis.
thank you.
All right.
Bye
All right,
bye.
everyone,
See y'all later.
for
All
joining.
right.
Okay.
Guys, make sure you go to dynastamir.com. Go to dynastamir.com. Everybody go to dynastamir.com. We ended on a good note. Shout out to Hold Up. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Go to dynastamir.com. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Peace.